Let me send you this this thing really quick.
I heard about the Szechuan sauce stuff. People being dicks to McDonald's employees because they didn't have enough Szechuan sauce.
Yeah, they were super dicks to McDonald's because they didn't have enough. And then they were like, oh, guess what? We're just going to release it everywhere in very large quantities.
Did they start releasing it everywhere in large quantities?
They're going to before the end of the year.
Ah.
Yeah, click on that.
I was just looking at an article about this like 10 minutes ago.
So was I. I was like, oh, look, a new Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah, I know. Article about this like 10 minutes ago. Pickle Dick.
Yeah, it's Pickle Dick Rick. I've watched the porn already. It's not very good.
It's not?
No.
Okay, good to know. I was tempted, but I didn't have very high hopes.
No. It's just Rick fucking Vicky fucking Yoon Titty.
Yoon Titty. Wow. What about Mr. Meesex? He's cool.
Yeah, but it's weird. That scene's weird. They use a fake vagina. They use a fake vagina to show her fucking.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 225 of the Game Into the Podcast. I'm your host Chris, and that person with the sultry voice that you hear is my best friend Kaleb.
Is it sultry? I never considered it sultry.
It's sultry, like your eyes.
Mm-mm. Are we gonna start this way?
I love your eyes, dude. What? You've beautiful, beautiful, very large, very beautiful eyes.
That's cool.
Even
That's
if Apollo thought you look like a Muppet, but
it's just that is neither here nor there. That's just a strange topic to start on. There's game stuff happening because it's we're into the season now.
When do we talk about games?
We can talk about games right now if you want.
I said I played Bloodborne.
You played Bloodborne?
Not Bloodborne.
Dawn has to come over and tell me how she got a chance to play Bloodstained at New York Comic Con this past weekend.
Ooh, how was it?
How was it, babe? How was it? Are you gonna say anything? You just gonna? You know this is an audio thing. People can't see you.
It was amazing.
There you
go. Was it really?
Was it really?
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah. What was it like?
It was like a Castlevania game.
Well, clearly.
Well,
you asked me dumb questions, you're getting dumb answers.
That is fair, and I have no issue with that at all.
She just threatened to shit on my computer.
Wow. Okay. Well.
Thanks, babe. Thanks for the update on Bloodstained. Bye.
What do you want? The character looks good. No. The character looks good. The controls are really smooth. I played on a PS4 controller on, I'm pretty sure that was a PC build. And the controls were really nice. The backgrounds look amazing. The character is nice. The levels were very vertical. They were that was the only complaint I had, that it was I felt like they felt very vertical. It might have just been the area that I was in.
Vertical's good, though. Vertical it reminds me of the library from Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, and it felt like where you needed to go next was very hidden. So there were areas where I'm like, where the fuck do I go next?
All right,
and I kind of went in a circle.
That sounds like a good Castlevania game.
But it was fun.
And what did Iga's cock taste like?
I wish I knew the answer to that question.
Okay, thank you, babe, for your update on Bloodstained.
Well,
Iga was also at New York Comic Con. That's why we were joking.
Was he really?
Yeah. Dawn. That's like Dawn's boyfriend.
Iga's the man.
I saw him. I saw his hat.
Oh, Dawn saw his hat.
He was wearing the hat.
Okay. Thanks, babe. Bye. It's kind of like, Dawn. Iga to Dawn is what Miyamoto would be for me.
I can see that. Okay.
You know, Dawn's favorite thing in the entire gaming world is Castlevania, and Iga is the father of Castlevania.
So you'd suck his dick?
Oh, I'd totally suck Miyamoto's dick. But he has to smile with that big, stupid, cheesy smile the entire time.
That's a little awkward. Just him just smiling at you.
Yeah, and he's got to leave the t-shirt and the suit jacket on.
just straight out of the zipper.
No, pants off, socks on.
Okay. Naughty, very naughty.
Yeah, of course I'm naughty. Come on, it's Chris. This is Chris who's very, very sick.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, that's a weird place to start the podcast. This is the Gaming Death Podcast. We jump all over the place.
Yeah, I know.
You act like all we do is talk about video games.
No, well, mostly.
You're trying to tighten the laces here. We don't tighten the laces. No.
I am maintaining the laces. That's all I'm doing. I maintain
the laces. We're pretty good.
Fine, whatever. Koji Igarashi. Good guy.
Yeah.
He seems really cool.
So you said that there's video game stuff you want to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's start with, I wanted to double check on this because I wasn't sure if we might have gotten a chance to talk about it, but I don't quite remember. Cuphead?
Oh, no, we didn't, because last week you were sick. So we didn't have an episode last week.
The last Friday, that's right. Yeah, it was the day after we did the last one. Okay, so, I was going to ask about your thoughts on Cuphead, and it's going to lead into something that I've been hearing about all over the place, but Cuphead.
Cuphead is one of the best games I've played. It's not for everybody. That's my first thing I'm going to say. It is not for everybody. It's basically a very giant boss rush mode with these kind of boring platforming levels in between. It's a big wide open map. You get to choose what boss you want to fight first. It's basically you play as Cuphead, and you're trying to take down these bosses so that you can go fight the devil. It's a very quick synopsis and very accurate synopsis of what this game is. The game is extremely challenging. It's one of the hardest games I've ever played. The bosses, I've been stuck on a B-boss now since last Sunday, or the Sunday that you were gone, so maybe 2 Sundays ago now. And I have not been able to beat her, and I can't go forward and fight any other bosses until I beat this chick. And she's fucking hard. She's really hard.
Sounds like the game in general is just very hard from what I'm hearing.
It is. It's old school. I don't want to say it's hard. I want to say it's old school.
Okay.
It's like Shovel Knight. Like Shovel Knight, a lot of people thought was hard, especially people that didn't play like old school platformers. People thought that Shovel Knight was really hard.
I remember blasting through Shovel Knight.
And yeah, I thought Shovel Knight was a cakewalk. And with Cuphead, it's just an old school game. It's an old school shoot 'em up, basically.
So it sounds like it's kind of like Contra, with some like maybe Gradius mixed in. There's some flying segments and whatnot, but it's very difficult. Bullet hell kind of.
But I wouldn't call it Contra because you don't go. There's very few. There's only one like Contra-ish level in each of the 4 worlds. There's only one of them.
But as far as a platform where you have just kind of a machine gun or some type of gun and you're kind of shooting. Well, Contra bosses maybe would be a better approximation.
Except that they morph. Each boss has anywhere between 3 and 7 stages.
3 and fucking 7?
Yes.
Have you fought any with 7 so far?
Yes, that's why I said 3 and 7.
Okay.
And I don't really want to spoil the bosses because discovering the bosses for the first time and the first time you play against them and you're like, this is a really cool design and this is a lot of fun and this is just really cool and it's kind of surprising. Like, I want to beat this B boss that I'm on. Like, I'll tell you what her first stage is. She's a B. I want to beat her so I can see more bosses.
Yeah.
I have some, like, I breeze through the first two areas of the game. You get graded at the end, and there's a dodge jump, like a parry that you can do, which is needed. There's a dash that you can do. You get 3 like upgrades. One upgrade is you can change what your weapons are. One upgrade can give you life, but makes you deal less damage. And there's something else. I haven't played this week, so I'm a little rusty on what everything does. But there's different types of shooting you can do, and you can put on 2 different types of guns. I really like the shotgun. I think it's one of my favorites. Aside from that, there's one that you can shoot backwards, and it kind of boomerangs around and does a shit ton of damage if you fire like with your back towards the enemy.
Ooh.
Which I can't use against the B-boss because there's fucking walls on both sides, so I shoot at the wall and it just hits the wall and doesn't come back. So I've got to change up my strategy a little bit. Aside from that, it's fucking phenomenal. It's hard, but it's phenomenal.
Okay. Because I was saying it seems to be drumming up a lot of conversation just around the question of challenge in video games and the place that it has in the modern era.
I wrote an article about this on the website.
yeah, you did. You did do that. But I saw a lot of other people talking about it too, and it was just an interesting thing going on. But yeah, he did write an article.
I did. Holy shit, I wrote an article. It's the first one since 2008. No, not 2008. Yeah. 2015, I believe, was our last article.
Yeah, you should let me edit that.
Well, I sent it to you. Send me the corrections. You can totally edit it. Okay. I haven't promoted it yet because it's not edited.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I thought it was just a link to the post itself. Okay,
it is just a link because I asked you how do you want me to send this to you and you didn't respond.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna give an email, but then anyway. Yeah, I was about to give an email, and then you gave me that. And I was like, what am I doing with this? I'll get to that. Anyway, just while we're here, I mean, what are your general thoughts about that, I guess? I mean, Cuphead, it sounds like, is more of a classic kind of difficulty, and I respect any kind of game, any kind of, like, throwback game that has that kind of style to it. It seems strange now, some of the challenges, and some of the ways, some of the mechanics of the game, I should say. And how they're a little more punishing, but they still have their own kind of logic to them. That's not too hard to grasp. You just gotta...
My idea is, I really feel like games are really, really easy these days. Like, really easy.
They are.
I started playing games in 1989. Okay? So, I've got 27 years of gaming underneath me. Playing everything from the NES up to modern consoles. Never took a break from gaming, none of that. So, to have games today where you have, what's a good one? Kingdom Hearts 2 is a great one that has, like, a 4-hour-long tutorial as Roxas.
That's right. I remember that.
Or every game having to tell you how to move, or every game, X's jump and and the shoulder button shoot, and every game having these tutorials. Even if you choose hard mode, every game having these tutorials. And I think that it's really easy. There's no permadeath really anymore. You don't have lives. You can continue. It doesn't really feel like death is in a game anymore means anything. Regenerating health, no more health packs. It's allowed the medium to expand to a much wider audience, which is video games, believe it or not, is getting up there with the audience that movies have, and sometimes surpassing. Sales of some of these games are surpassing what movies do in a weekend, and that's great, and that's an awesome thing. And I love the fact that there's developers out there like From Software and the guys that do Cuphead and Yacht Club Studios, and I can't remember who did Neo, and allowing the gamers that want that challenge to be there. But I really feel like it's a really big double-edged sword, because you don't hear about a game being difficult unless it's really difficult. And you don't hear about the difficulty of a game unless it's punishingly difficult. Like, you don't hear, like, oh, Breath of the Wild is, a normal difficulty of a game. Like, some of the puzzles are kind of tricky, but the overall difficulty is medium at best. And you don't hear people saying that kind of stuff, but you hear people being like, oh, Dark Souls 3, it's fucking hard. Get good, son. Whereas, like, so that's gonna scare a lot of people away.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas these normal games are very accessible, and that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. And I wish, baby games for babies. That's what most games are.
Baby games for babies.
Baby games for babies.
Well, we here on the cast play big games for big boys.
We do. But we also play baby games for babies. They're some of my favorites. They're baby games for babies. Tune in next week where me and Caleb are going to go over and decide what the top 10 video games of this generation are currently. That's next week. Yeah.
Part of me thinks that I don't know if I can even remember enough in the past 4 years to really put a solid list together of 10, but, we'll see.
I have 36 games right now.
Do you really?
I do. I have my list.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. Yep. But I do have. I believe it's 36 titles on here.
Are you going to bring the whole list of 36 to work down to an eventual 10?
No, I'm starting to work it down to about 17.
Okay.
Because, like, and that was the thing when I was looking for games for this, I was like, well, there's certain games that I know that I haven't played, or played very much of, or played all the way through that I knew needed to be put on that list. That was the other thing. Like Persona 5. I haven't played through Persona 5, but I have played like 26 hours of Persona 5. And it's a great game, and I think it needs to be on that list.
Nice.
Stuff like that. What's your thoughts on difficulty and this difficulty thing that we're talking about?
I feel pretty similarly. I think I guess difficulty is an interesting thing, depending on how a game is difficult and how difficulty is built into the game's mechanics and whatnot. To the extent that something like Dark Souls, obviously, I don't think you could even give it an easy mode. I think that would destroy a lot of the impact of the game itself, as far as just how it functions and how it works. Something like Cuphead, I wonder if it needs a hard mode, but maybe it is part of its old school charm, which maybe it kind of sounds like you're describing.
There's an easy mode for Cuphead. When you select a boss, you can select either, I think it's light or normal.
Oh.
But you can't fight the last boss if you beat everything on light.
Oh.
So it goes old school. Where if you're on easy, you can't fight the final boss.
Okay. So it's more like something like Super Meat Boy, where there's like, you can beat the levels, but you have to collect super gnarly bullshit if you want to get the crazy final. I think there's a couple hidden worlds.
Yes.
Okay, that is interesting. That sounds pretty crucial to how that game is built, honestly.
Don't ask me how the difficulty is on light, because I haven't played anything on light.
No, that's what I would do. No, that's great. Depending on the type of game, so it really has to do with how the game is made. You can't give an easy mode to some types of games like that. This one, it's built around how the game is designed, so that's kind of nice. Whereas something like, I don't know, I guess a lot of shooters I play aren't necessarily too well, depending on the shooter. Yeah, it's a sticky thing, but I think the fact that we have most games being really easy these days, if it just takes some time to work up to obviously the more difficult stuff, or if you want to put the time into more difficult stuff and you're just a more casual person, it's worth it. It'll probably get you a little more into the industry itself as far as the stuff we play these days. Anyway,
but don't get me wrong. The easy games are stuff that I still look forward to. Like, like Assassin's Creed Origin comes out in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And that game, I know that game's not going to be ridiculously challenging or anything, but it's going to be fun, and it's going to have a good story, and it's just going to be a good game. And I know this already. It's not. They're not going to pull another French Assassin's Creed on us, another Unity on us.
No, I think they may have learned their lesson. I mean, Syndicate seemed pretty fantastic.
And they took a year off.
They did. They did take a year off.
They did.
I heard some interesting things that the most recent one that people played at a conference was kind of slow and stuttery, but for some reason it was still in alpha. I'm not sure. Hopefully they'll... I don't know if we'll get a day one patch or something. I'd, hope not, but, well, we'll see what happens.
Ubisoft will get a day one patch.
All right. As long as it's... well, yeah. I don't
Welcome to modern video games.
Welcome to modern video games. This is what we get.
And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That's my thing. It's okay. It's fine. No, it really is. Like, people bitch about day one patches and DLC and shit like that. It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay with day one patches.
Day one patches, I'm okay with.
DLC, perfectly okay with.
As long as the game isn't broken for like a month. Or like 2 months.
Right, well, that's the thing. If a game comes out, and that's why I said day one patches.
Yeah.
Day one patches, for me, I think are great. I think day one patches are amazing.
It's reasonable. Way to continue working on the game after it goes gold.
Exactly, and finding bugs and fixing these bugs, whereas back in the day, a game would ship, and they would stop working on it, and then you'd find glitches and bugs and typos and bullshit along those lines, and you'd be like, fuck, this is what I have now. This is what I have to play. And like people bitch about DLC. Yeah. And I'm like, you're giving me more, especially if it's a game that I really like. Like, you're giving me more game for $15? Okay. I like this game. That means I don't have to spend $60 and wait 5 years for the sequel to come out. I can play more of this game now. Thank you.
And that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yep. People also bitch about pre-ordering too, and I don't get that.
Well, I mean, I don't pre-order anymore, but
why? Okay, wait. Are you an against pre-order person?
Yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of putting my money down until I'm certain it is a game that I think I want to play. I like to wait for reviews, just to be sure. Most of the time.
That's the thing.
Most of the time.
I don't read reviews. I'm not a review guy. I never have been. I've never been, I want to look at this review, and I want to check out this review before I buy this game. I pre-order, but I pre-order through Amazon where I don't have to put any money down.
Which is, that's a pretty fair compromise.
So, nobody's getting any of my money till the game ships to my house. So, it's just convenience for me. And I get to save money. Whereas, like, if you pre-order through Best Buy, they charge you right away. Or if I pre-order through fucking Ubisoft's website, they charge you right away. And then won't let you cancel it.
Ubisoft's fantastic website.
Fuck Ubisoft. I get that game fucking next week. That game comes out next Tuesday.
I was gonna say, it's coming out, and then Assassin's Creed is in another week or so.
Yeah, so I have 3 games coming. I just got the notice that Evil Within 2 shipped. I'll have it tomorrow.
Nice.
And then I didn't get the thing that it shipped yet, but I get the Fractured But Whole next Tuesday. I'll probably get it Thursday because Ubisoft doesn't do same day shipping. Which is the whole reason I wanted to cancel in the first place. And then, like, 2 weeks later, I get Assassin's Creed. And it's like, fuck. I've been playing nothing but Destiny 2 and Cuphead for as long as I can remember lately. And then before that, steamrolling through Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
So, I just...
I mean, I'm still gonna read reviews and stuff, but I'm wondering if, if everything seems pretty good, Assassin's Creed Origins is probably gonna be a day one purchase. And yeah, I've just been playing Destiny and No Man's Sky for the past couple months, honestly. I have some games I could be playing. I reinstalled Prey, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. I keep meaning to.
You should play that. You gotta play that alone, though.
I should play
You
that.
keep wanting me to watch you play that, and I'm like, no, you have to experience the beginning of that game by yourself. Like, that's one of the things that makes Prey really good, is the atmosphere and the sense of being alone.
Okay. I wanted to start it last week when I was sick. Oh, by the way, guys, yeah, I went to New Zealand for a few days for a work trip. That was very fast and very exhausting. And then I came back Wednesday in the middle of the day, passed out at 6 p.m., and then woke up 12 hours later just feeling like total garbage. So I was out for most of the weekend.
Yeah, he caught sheep's AIDS.
I did not catch sheep's AIDS.
You did.
Sheep's AIDS can't jump to humans.
Yeah, you caught sheep's AIDS.
That's the genius of the sheep, man.
Oh, okay.
And condoms.
Oh.
Anyway.
Use the sheepskin condoms?
No. The ones that don't work.
No, they work.
They don't work for certain things. They're not 100% for protection against all STDs.
No condom is. They're 99.98% effective.
Oh, well, I mean, certain things can get through sheepskin that can't get through latex.
Yes, I know that.
Anyway, while we're splitting hairs here, yeah, so we got Assassin's Creed coming out. I was digging through some of the news coming out, because I know there's been little things here and there. I'm trying to remember coming in the past few days. Oh, have you heard about the Oculus?
The Oculus on the Go thing that I think I saw something about?
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention it. Neither necessarily sounds super interesting to me. Depending on how the Oculus Go is, like, I might be interested if it's like really good as a little portable thing, but I don't know.
Are you watching South Park this season, by the way?
Honestly, I'm not. It's the first time in a few years that I haven't really paid attention to the season. I hadn't heard the best things about some of the first few episodes.
The first 3 episodes are terrible.
Oh. Well, I guess that's good to know. Is it up to episode 4?
Yeah. Episode 4 was really good.
Okay.
It's a setup it feels like a setup for the Fractured Butthole. The Coon and Friends come back.
Okay. Then maybe I will check that one out. They would do that. That's not bad. Yeah, I've mostly just been watching The Wire, though, and finishing it up and everything. Rather than watching too much else this season, honestly. I do need to get back to The Expanse. But
I watched The Simpsons and South Park and American Horror Story.
How is that, by the way? I'm hearing
What?
some interesting things about it.
How's what?
About some of the recent episodes of American Horror Story.
American Horror Story is fucking amazing.
I heard they had to take out some of the violence because there was a mass shooting scene, actually, which is horribly prescient.
Yes, I believe that was the last episode. It was the episode that aired the Tuesday after Vegas.
Yeah.
And they had to take it out. But it's really good. I think that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it just feels way too real. It feels way too real. And a lot of people don't like how real it feels. And I really like that. I really like how real it feels and how raw this season feels. It's a good season. It's called Cult.
Yeah.
It's about a right-wing fanatic and a lesbian who has a bunch of fears, like kind of at odds. A bunch of weird shit is going down. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing.
That sounds super interesting.
Yeah, I have 2 episodes that I have to watch, which I'll do after this podcast tonight.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
It's fucking awesome. Come on.
Yeah, no, it sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. What else we got in the gaming news? Because I got a bunch of questions. I've got 3 weeks worth of questions built up too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, speaking of going into the holiday season, Middle-earth Shadow of War actually just dropped.
I know. I'm gonna buy it.
Was it this week
Yeah,
that it dropped?
Yeah, it dropped on Tuesday.
Okay, I remember I just saw reviews go up that day, so I started reading them. It sounds like it's basically just more Shadow Mordor, but bigger.
with premium loot boxes.
With premium loot boxes. That's great. But you can ignore those, right?
I've heard conflicting reports.
Okay.
I've heard that the only way to get the super rare orcs to drop so that you can fight them and get their power is through these loot boxes, and then I've heard people be like, no, you can totally get them not from the loot boxes. They totally show up randomly.
Yeah, I heard that you either have to grind for a long time or just buy a loot box.
Yep, that's what I've heard.
To get like a super final armor, I guess. But that sounds fine. You want to talk about The Last Jedi trailer?
Oh, we can do that. You want to talk about Last Jedi trailer? We can talk about Last Jedi.
About The Last Jedi trailer. That's
totally talk about Last Jedi trailer. Oh, it was so good.
It was. I felt a little better after watching it a couple more times and thinking it over. I'm still. I don't know. I'm wary. I guess it'll depend on how much we really found out.
I don't think we found out anything after watching it now probably about 30 times and watching probably 16 breakdowns of the trailer where they slow it down and stuff. I'd have to say that I don't think that anything that the biggest reveal that we got is what Snoke looks like in person.
Yeah.
That is the biggest reveal that we got.
I did see that. I wasn't too worried when I saw that. Just because we obviously don't know anything more about him at this point.
I have theories, but...
Oh, people have theories.
Oh, I definitely have a theory.
You.
Yeah. There's some stuff, especially after reading some of the novels. Yeah, I have some theories.
Okay. We can talk about that later.
So the trailer, what are your thoughts? Okay, by the way, guys, if you guys are staying away from anything that has to do with the Last Jedi, you may want to skip ahead like 15-20 minutes. Seriously. Because I think that we're going to kind of talk about this in depth. I'll probably talk about some of my theories. Kaleb might have theories that he might talk about. And if you're trying to stay completely away from Last Jedi spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, go ahead. Let's get into this trailer.
Oh, it's interesting. We're just at the point where we gotta have spoiler warnings for when we talk about movie trailers, but that's not bad. That is not a bad way to hype up a movie at all.
No.
So I might pull it up actually right now just while I'm talking. There's a lot of things going on here that are definitely meant to make you think certain things are happening when they very much probably will not go that way when we actually see the movie, which is very clever. It's a very clever way to make a trailer. It's blown my mind a little as far as how little it actually does tell us.
See,
other than a few things here and there.
So the trailer opens with Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And he's kind of throwing a hissy fit. I think that's the end of the movie, by the way.
You think so? You think it's going to be? An Empire Strikes Back? Really dark ending.
I do.
I'm totally okay with that, as long as that is the only thing they pull from Empire Strikes Back. I want them to be very unique and creative with what they do.
The
but
trailer
looks like they will.
Very different.
It looks like they, yeah. It really does. There's a lot of really.
The Porg is the cutest fucking thing that I've ever seen.
Oh my god, we gotta talk about the Porg. everybody's losing their shit over the Porg.
It's fucking like dog penguin combination. It is cute as fuck.
So here's my thoughts about the Porg, which is interesting it's a pretty. That's the thing. It's a pretty tried and true, pretty old hat concept. That's not that clever, but
no, it's not.
The concept of having a little cute animal sidekick for potential comedic relief and lightheartedness to a film, as well as just being something you can make merchandise out of. that is what Jar Jar was meant to be, but that is obviously not what Jar Jar turned out to be.
No, I don't think that the Porg can speak, which is good.
No, which is fantastic. That's the thing. It's hard to be mad because they took that concept and they did it so well.
But they
just from the trailer,
But
just
they did
from the trailer.
My thing is, it's a trope though, like, and it's a used trope. Like, I saw that, and the first thing I thought was, okay, so that's gonna, like, if you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Porg is gonna be like Rey's Momo.
Yeah.
Because I think that once Rey and R2 get back to Luke, I don't think R2's going back with Rey. I think R2's going to stay with Luke, and I think we're going to see a dismantled R2 in this movie.
Do you think we're going to see some more BB-88 though?
We are, but that's Pose.
That's true. So, but then we have two little sidekicks now. One of them's just a robot.
Right. So I think that this Porg is going to be is going to be like Rey's little buddy. She's going to rescue it somehow. I don't fucking know.
And I don't know. I see things going on with Chewbacca, and it looks like the Porg is obviously flying with them while things are happening. So I think it's going to be.
They're in the Millennium Falcon there, by the way. So we know that. So we know in this movie, Luke doesn't stay in Dagobah. Like, Rey doesn't stay in Dagobah the whole time.
She does not stay in Dagobah the whole time. I was going to say, drawing some similarities to, obviously drawing similarities to Yoda and the time Luke spent there. I think it's going to take a very different direction between the two of them than Yoda and Luke Skywalker. And I think that's... You don't?
I don't. I think the training's going to be very similar until we get to that rock-breaking scene.
Okay.
And that's where shit's gonna turn. But we see Rey walk into the mist at one point. That's very reminiscent to Luke walking into the cave.
Okay.
There's just a lot of similarities that I saw between, like, the rock building and Luke piling the rocks up or lifting the fucking Millennium Falcon out of the X-wing out of the swamp. You know, there's a lot of there seems like there's a lot of similarities, but I think that the dynamic between Rey and Luke is going to be much different than the dynamic between Luke and Yoda. Like, Luke in this trailer seems kind of gray. It's the best word I can use.
He's gray.
He's kind of gray.
He is kind of gray.
He is on both sides of the posters as well.
Wait, he's gray on both sides of the posters?
No. If you look at the posters that they released for The Last Jedi, Luke is both on the light side in blue and on the dark side in red.
I saw that, and that was the thing that drew my attention right away with the new one that they showed.
Of course, they had to. Of course that would. Why is he there? Because he's gray.
He is. He is very gray.
For people that aren't in the know in Star Wars, they're like, whatever the fuck that means. And for people that are in the know, they're like, yes, he's gray.
Yeah, this is something that a lot of people I know started thinking back when the teaser came out. There were some things. Now there's definitely some pretty solid information here.
I also think, and this is going to blow people away, I think Rey's going to die in this movie.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do. I do think Rey's going to die in this movie. I think we see her death scene in the trailer.
And then do you think the next movie is just about taking down Snoke?
Yes.
You think it has to do...
But use it with The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi will take down Snoke in the third movie.
But it's not going to be Rey.
It's not going to be Rey. It's going to be a Skywalker.
You think it's going to be Finn?
No, it's going to be a Skywalker.
Is it going to be Luke?
No, it's going to be Kylo. He's Skywalker.
Do you think, as far as the term Last Jedi goes, or the phrase Last Jedi goes, do you think that Luke's plan is to just end the light and dark war altogether by just having... Well, his plan is to have all Jedis and all Sith killed completely?
No, I think that he's going to be a Gray, which is a Gray Jedi. If you've watched Rebels and the other one, they talk about the Gray Jedi a little bit in there. It's in the Book of the Wills, which Luke has with him. We've seen it. I think we see it in this trailer as well, which is the oldest text on the Force itself. And there's a lot of talk of the Gray, and I think Luke is going to be the Gray. It's someone who walks both paths, both the light and the dark side path, to be purely middle of the road. I think the Last Jedi is going to be Kylo Ren. At this point, I don't think that Rey is a Skywalker. I don't think that she is related to any character that we've seen.
I don't think so either.
In the Star Wars universe. A lot of people think she might be Obi-Wan's daughter. A lot of people think that she might be this person or that person. But I keep going back to what Lucasfilms has always said about especially when they started doing all these ancillary type movies, is that the Star Wars proper has always been the Skywalker saga. It's always been about the Skywalkers. So if Rey is not a Skywalker, there is no way she can be the actual main character. And
you think she's gonna die, and it's gonna lead to Kylo
coming back? And remember, he was trained at the Jedi Academy under Luke before he became a Knight of Ren.
Yeah,
he has Jedi training, and he was a Padawan. He was a Padawan at one point. He was a Jedi. And I think that we see Snoke kill Rey in the trailer.
You think that's what that is?
Yep. I think Snoke is like a Force vampire. Super old Force vampire. Who sucks.
Force vampire?
Yeah. Like, they were in old novels that there's this old race, old Sith from before the Old Republic. And what they would do is they could live forever by finding extremely strong Force users and removing their essence and their Force, and it gives them more time. It's one of the reasons that we see when we see Snoke, he looks a little bit more full, more together than he did in the hologram in the Force Awakens.
Okay.
And I also think that Snoke is the one that wrote the prophecy.
You think so?
Yeah, he could live forever. Find the strongest Jedi in the world. Oh, yeah. I told you, I've got some fucking theories, man.
In order to vampirize them.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I think it's cool. I think the scene that we see Kylo reaching the hand out, I think that's where we're going to see Leia die, personally. I think he's reaching out to Leia. He has that same, like, kind of sad but conflicted look on his face that he did when he killed Han. I think he's reaching out to Leia there. I think Snoke attacks Leia's ship in the rubble, and that pushes him over the edge.
You got this whole movie mapped out.
I do. Dude, it's me. It's what I do. And it's Star Wars, one of my all-time favorite things in the world. Like, I can't tell you what happens in between. I think that we're going to see R2 die. I think we're going to see Rey die. That's, like, my two big things.
Okay.
Because we don't see R2 very much in the trailer. We don't see any droids, really, in the trailer.
No, not too much.
Which is weird, because BB-8 was, like, the face of the last trailer.
BB-8 was the face of the last trailer.
So, I don't know. What do you think?
I wasn't necessarily going to try to make too many assumptions as far as what's happening going into it. I don't think that Rey is a Jedi, or not a Jedi. I don't think that she's a Skywalker necessarily, but I'm wondering if it's... I mean, I want it to obviously be another Empire Strikes Back as far as just being very... being a very depressing and kind of bad-feeling film, but I think it's... I don't know if I can assume that it's going to set it up in the ways that you've described, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Well, that's the thing is, I make up these theories, and then I go see a movie, like especially a movie that I'm really excited for. Like, I'm gonna buy tickets for this fucking movie. I don't go to the movies because of my anxiety, but I'll go to the movies to see this. And I have what I think is going to happen in my head, and then I sit down for a movie, and if that's not what happens, I'm completely fucking surprised. And if it is happened, I'm like, God damn it, Disney, try harder. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Ugh, I feel like I'm going to puke.
I was going to say, you doing okay?
Pretty sure I have the flu, so. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Gatorade. Lots of Gatorade.
Lots of Gatorade.
Lots of Gatorade. But, I don't know. I just hope that it's good.
Yeah, that's all that I want to. I just want it to be unique as far as the story it tells compared to, how the last one borrowed so much from, felt like it borrowed so much from A New Hope.
See, everybody says that. Everybody's like, oh, the Force Awakens is basically an updated version of A New Hope. And I'm like, It's not. Like, there are some story beats that it hits the same way. And the story structure in that sense is very much in line with every Star Wars movie. But it doesn't tell the same story. You don't have this. You have a person like you. If you break it down to its bare minimum of storytelling, yes, it is a updated version of A New Hope. But then you get the details and some of the story twists in there, and you're like, okay, well, it's not. It's not a retelling of A New Hope. If you, at a very basic level, yes, you're right. It is very much A New Hope.
I think I don't think it's necessarily the same in every way. I think it borrows fairly heavily, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay to draw that kind of similarity. We've talked about this too. It's okay to draw that kind of similarity just because it was the first of a new trilogy that needed to distance itself from the 1, 2, 3 trilogy very quickly. And just drawing things back to New Hope was a good idea. Putting that together, but I still would like this one in particular to be just. I want to see someone doing something really different with the Star Wars story. It sounds like they could if they go the direction you're describing and predicting. And I guess we'll see. I just want to not know what to expect, honestly.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's why I have, off-the-wall tinfoil hat theories. And I'm not like, oh, well, this is what's going to happen, and it's kind of plausible. No, my shit's way off the rails. Way off the rails.
Way off the rails.
Yeah, it's tinfoil hat shit.
Speaking of which, do you need to go out and vomit/rest a while, or is it time to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions.
All right.
I got some.
We're going to get through. All right.
Evan wants to know, when did y'all's bromance begin?
How long has it been?
Time.
God damn it. 5 years. 4 years. It's been a while.
It'll be 6 years this November.
Jesus. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. That's when our romance began. We met before that. We met in August, September time frame. I had posted out looking for volunteer writers for the site, and Kaleb responded to them, and we talked on Skype, and I didn't hire him because I couldn't pay anybody, but I brought fucking Kaleb on to write for the site, and we talked back and forth, and we had a lot of the same interests, and Kaleb was a very proper Christian boy, if you listen to those old episodes.
Oh man, super proper, super Christian.
You were super Christian.
Super Christian.
Super proper.
It was a rough time. It was a rough time in little Kaleb Jr.'s head.
Like, fucking Kaleb wouldn't swear?
Yeah.
Caleb was like, I would talk to Caleb about sex stuff, and Caleb would be like, "No, I'm saving myself for marriage," and it'd be like, "Okay, cool, whatever, we'll float your boat." And then I don't know.
That changed. Anyway,
lots of stuff changed, and he's my best buddy. He was the best man at my wedding. So he flew me out to San Francisco.
I did when I moved to San Francisco about 2 years ago now. Yeah. Oh my God. I've been in this apartment almost 3 years.
Yeah. So that's when y'all's bromance began.
So many memories, guys.
This is
you don't even know. You don't even know.
They don't know.
Not that you necessarily need to go back and listen to all of that.
No, you don't need to go back and listen to all of that.
Just stay relevant. Maybe listen to a dozen or so back if you care to. But please, I am insisting, do not go too far back in these podcasts.
Don't. I think the farthest you can go back right now is episode 17, because that's how many episodes the where we have our feed located at allows to be aggregated to iTunes. If you're on Stitcher, I think you might be able to go back all the way. And if you subscribe directly to our RSS feed, then you can get them all. And Caleb was, I believe, Hollow's episode 8, Caleb's episode 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
This is also from Evan. It's another one of those about our friendship. So I thought this is kind of nice. Since you're both best friends, what was the lowest point that you've seen each other at?
I mean, we've seen each other at some pretty rough times.
Yes, we have.
It's been an interesting past few years, figuring out adulthood and life.
For both of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been about the games at the end of the day, but no, we've talked about all that kind of stuff too. Again, don't go too far back, but it is something that has been brought up.
The lowest part is the Christmas that your girlfriend broke up with you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the lowest I've ever seen you.
Oh man, yeah, I'm just thinking about that now.
Because that was fucked up.
It was super fucked up.
Yeah. And I don't want to go into detail, that's not my place to do it, but that's all I will leave it at.
That was a fucked up relationship and situation. Because they're all so normal. All of the ones that I end up finding myself in. All of the situations. That was a rough one. I think the lowest I've seen you... was at one point when you were super frustrated with everything and you potentially wanted to just end the podcast and you hated your life at the pharmacy. I mean...
Which time?
There was one in particular when the site was going decent. I think we were still writing for the site at one point, and I can't remember what point, but there was one in particular that I remember having to talk you through back when I was living in... This was at least 3 or 4 years ago, when my bed was under another person's bed. Because we were trying to save space, and I had my little pocket, and I was working nights, and then I'd come home and hide in my pocket to sleep until late in the day because my life was fucked up. Good times.
Yep. So there you go. That's the lowest point we've seen each other at.
It's been pretty rough.
Yeah, but we've also had really awesome times. Like, you fucking were there to see me get fucking married.
That was pretty fantastic.
You know, even if you were like dead because of jet lag.
I was dead because of jet lag. That was an interesting weekend.
Yeah. The worst part about the wedding, by the way.
What?
Guys, fucking Caleb slept through my bachelor party.
Hey. Mistakes were made. They were being handled. It was an interesting weekend.
It was an itch. I think looking back on it, if we got to do that again, I don't think we would have held it where we held it. I think we would have done something else, a little bit closer to home, closer to where we were. We had fucking 2 hotel rooms next to each other, basically. We did. Fucking, we were like, oh, let's drive 2 hours north and get drunk at my friend's house,
and then try to drive back.
I did drive back.
Did drive back, not try to. You did.
I did drive back. All right, let's see. What forgotten PlayStation IP would you bring back?
Ooh,
Siphon Filter.
I was gonna say, I want to say Dino Crisis. At least I did until I remembered the third one, and was like, maybe that series has run its course.
See, I can't say Dino Crisis, I can't say Parasite Eve, and I can't say Legend of Dragoon, because they're not forgotten.
I would say Onimusha.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
We need a good Onimusha game.
We do.
Especially with
really
Neo.
Close. Neo comes really close to scratching that.
Comes pretty fucking close, which is nice, but it also makes me want them to bring back Onimusha. We'll see.
What's the weirdest gaming moment you had to explain to someone?
The weirdest gaming moment?
The weirdest gaming thing I've ever had to explain to someone is trying to explain the story of Kingdom Hearts to Dawn. Because that's really, like you play the first game and you're like, okay, I get this story. By the end of every game that's been released, and you're sitting there trying to explain how everything works, and Ventus's heart went into Sora, and that's how Sora became a Keyblade Keyblade wielder, but Ventus is coming back, and this and that, and nobody's, and heartless, and full people, and blah, blah, and and Roxas might be a separate person, and he might be able to come back. There might be a way to bring a nobody back to the real world, so Roxas might come back, and trying to explain all this intricate, weird details, I just sound like a crazy person rambling.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts. It does that with its stories.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was trying to describe Metal Gear Solid 2 to somebody, which I don't remember how we got there, but Metal Gear Solid 2 is a fucking mess. I still don't entirely know what that game's about. It's ridiculous.
Metal Gear 2 is fucking crazy. How much of that game is real?
It's fucking so bananas. I don't know. I recently watched a video, actually, by a guy breaking the whole thing down, and it was like 30 minutes. Like, you gotta be ready if you want to get into this video. You gotta sit your ass down and be ready to just talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 for 30 minutes. But if you're willing, it's pretty fantastic, and I think a lot of the things that you think aren't real may have been, well, I think a lot of things were retconned when 3 came out, and then even more when 4 came out. I think 2 was really meant to be the finale, and it seems like it in some of the ways I've seen the game described and broken down. And then, but, you know, it was so popular, they kind of pushed Kojima to keep going.
3 was supposed to be the last one. Kojima's always said that that Metal Gear was supposed to be a trilogy.
Okay, I could see that.
He wanted.
I could see 3 not really changing too much about 2.
It doesn't,
because it's when you try to follow after 2 that things get super weird in the Metal Gear universe.
Fucking Raiden bleeding cum. Right, because that was
the purple flapjaw and the tuning fork.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was the thing, is Metal Gear, it was Metal Gear Solid 2, and that was supposed to be the end of that line, and then he wanted to go back to kind of tie up some of the loose ends and everything with Boss and Snake and Liquid and all that bullshit, and Solidus, and we would have had a nice compact trilogy right there, you know? We get, oh, here's all these twists and turns. Here's the end of the current era, and then we're going to go back and tell how this all started. And fuck me. They came out with 4 and VR missions and Peace Walker and fucking
and 5.
5. Oh, game is so bad.
It's not great.
And it's one of those. It's one of those things where, like, my biggest problem with Metal Gear 5 was, spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5, by the way, was as soon as I saw Snake running around with the fucking horn, I was like, so that's not Big Boss. Got it.
Yeah. That's an interesting plot. I remember, oh man, that game, I wanted to love it so badly. You know how much I love Metal Gear Solid. It's potentially my favorite series, just so you guys know. Well, maybe that or Silent Hill, but most likely Metal Gear Solid. What was I just talking about? Yeah, I gave it so much time, and for a while I was having fun until I realized I was just doing the same things over and over again. And when I wanted to go forward with the story mission, I could not. Because for some reason I was at a point where I needed to keep doing things over and over and over again. And I realized I wasn't really having much fun anymore in the open world because it was just those things. And then I got so frustrated, I just got on a wiki and started digging really deep into figuring out everything that happens in Metal Gear Solid 5. It was basically the SparkNotes version of me playing that game. Because that's all I wanted. And the story wasn't even that great. It was just... Well, it was half finished is what it was. The whole game is half finished.
Like, I think my biggest problem with 5 is it's empty.
It's so empty.
Like, you get in there and you're like, oh, I got this big sandbox to play in. And then you realize that the sandbox doesn't have any buckets or shovels. It's just fucking sand. And you're like, well, I can make my horse shit on command.
You can.
You know, fuck. How many drinks are you plastered?
Not too many. I'm a lightweight. Like 3 or 4.
Are we talking beer? Because beer, it's like 4.
I would equate a pint of beer to like a mixed cocktail. Or like a shot of whiskey.
But if I'm drinking cranberry vodka... Oh, plastered, not drunk. Drunk,
yeah, like totally hammered.
Oh, probably about 8 beers.
Okay.
That's bottles of beer. If I'm drinking hard liquor, like a third of a bottle of vodka.
Okay, third of a bottle of vodka. It's a very specific measurement.
Well, when we played Borderlands...
Oh my god! Borderlands, everything comes back to the Borderlands.
Because when we played Borderlands 2 drunk, I was drunk when we started. By the end of it, I was plastered, and that was a brand new bottle of vodka that I had bought so that we could play Borderlands 2 drunk.
I think I went through half a bottle of wine to get that game started.
So
it was pretty deep.
When I woke up the next morning and I looked at the bottle of vodka, about a third of it was gone, and Dawn had not been drinking it. It was just me and my heavy-headed pours of vodka cranberry. What's your favorite mixed drink? Vodka cranberry is my favorite mixed drink.
Favorite mixed drink, an old-fashioned. Just give me a quality old-fashioned. But I'm also happy just drinking it straight if it's decent whiskey or decent liquor.
I don't like whiskey very much, unless it's, like, good whiskey. It's got to be smoky whiskey.
I like good whiskey. I don't know as much about whiskey as I might like. I have some friends who know a lot about whiskey. I usually trust to them.
Like, when I drink whiskey, it's got to taste like I just took a bite out of a cigar.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's good whiskey.
Like super deep, smoky whiskey.
Yeah. It's got to be like nobody else wants to drink this that doesn't drink whiskey. That's the whiskey I want. But that's not a mixed drink.
No,
My
it's
other,
not.
my other favorite mixed drink, by the way, is, as most people should know, because I'm a bitch, is a frozen margarita.
Eh.
Fucking love frozen margaritas.
I mean, you already said vodka cranberry.
That's why I said my other favorite mixed drink is
I
frozen
know,
margaritas.
but I feel like if you want to go by girly drinks, I feel like I would equate those two as the same. So I thought it was funny that you mentioned that you pitched before the second one, just because from the first one I thought. Anyway,
You think that a vodka cranberry is a bitch drink?
I think it's a girly drink.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not amaretto and ginger.
I mean, not that I have a problem with you or me drinking girly drinks. Just as far as drinks go, I would equate it as
Not
being
a fucking appletini.
I mean, no. Well, that's Jesus fucking Christ.
It's not a Long Island. It's fucking.
That's true,
Like-
but a margarita isn't a Long Island either.
No,
I'm saying a
margaritas
margarita.
are good.
I'm saying a margarita. Yeah, but I'm saying a margarita, like a frozen margarita and a vodka cranberry, are on the same level. That's what I'm saying.
But they're not up
In
there.
my mind.
They're not up there. They're not super high up there.
They're not super high girly.
No, it's not a mudslide.
I don't think I've ever had a mudslide. I don't think I ever will have a mudslide or an appletini.
I've had an appletini.
A Long Island, I'll think about.
Long Islands are delicious.
That's why I'll think about, because I've just heard. I've never been to any place that has them really good. I don't know if is that a West Coast thing or is that more of an East Coast thing?
I think that's an East Coast thing. Whereas like mojitos, you get down in Florida, and you get I don't know.
I do love a good mojito.
See, I think a mojito's a bitch drink.
Really? I think a mojito as more...
I think that's on level with margaritas.
I think it's classier and slightly more feminine than a margarita, or slightly more masculine than a margarita. But I could still see it as being girly.
See, I went to a bar with a buddy. We went to this fucking Irish pub. This is going back a ways, probably like 7 years. And we had a competition where we were trying to see who could order the other person the girliest drink. And that's how I've had an appletini. He ordered me an appletini. And I ordered him a mudslide and told the bartender to stir it with his dick.
Wow. Okay.
James put his dick in that thing.
That's a fun story.
We watched it. And then Matt drank it down. It's a good thing.
Wow, man, the places we grow up.
Yeah, exactly.
What else we got?
Simon wants to know, how do I find woman and play game at the same time? I'm desperate. Help me.
What the fuck kind of question? How do I find woman and play game at the same time?
How do I find... I'm sorry. How do I find a woman and play games at the same time? I'm desperate. Help me.
It's not too hard. I mean, games don't have to be the entirety of your life outside of work. I mean, you should potentially have other hobbies, especially ones that'll potentially keep you in decent shape and whatnot. Having hobbies in general and
being in decent shape is fucking overrated, Caleb.
Think so?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Being in decent shape is overrated.
you think so?
Like, I want to lose a few pounds, but I don't ever want to be like ripped Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I would not want to be that. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to be ripped Arnold Schwarzenegger. But something, I don't know. You want hobbies is what I was going to get at. You want to just be, I don't know, just be an interesting person who engages in different hobbies.
But you said to be in shape, and that felt like it's a dig at me. You know,
I'm not
6'5", 280 pounds.
I'm not saying that. And I literally just said, theoretically, ideally one that also keeps you in shape, but not necessarily. Well, one that gets you exercise, even if it's Pokemon Go,
Exercise overrated.
You think exercise is overrated?
I do. Unless it's a pool. I love swimming.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm like a fucking whale. Love fucking swimming. No, but you're right. Have other fucking hobbies, and not just like niche hobbies. Like read a fucking book.
Oh yeah, read lots of fucking books.
Like
read so many motherfucking books. I read fucking too many books.
Read a book. Get off the internet for a little bit. Don't be right wing.
Don't be right wing. Don't do it. I see you trying to move over to that right wing side. Don't do it, guys.
Watch
people.
Watch TV.
Watch TV? Do you mean keep up with cultural trends watch television?
Yeah, it gives you something to talk about.
Yeah.
And research stuff. Learn how to do shit with your hands.
Learn how to do shit with your hands. Buy better beer. Buy better beer,
Buy better beer. Don't drink Bud or Moors. Or
do not.
Molston's or any of that. It's all terrible.
Go for the microbrews, which are usually
don't be a hipster either. Don't listen to Caleb.
Oh my God, you have microbrews where you live too.
Yeah, but they're not great.
Are they really?
Yeah,
that's unfortunate because they're great everywhere else I've been to.
They're all right. If you like a hoppy beer, they're all right.
It's true. People really like IPAs. They really do.
I'm close enough to Brooklyn that almost every microbrew that we have is an IPA.
IPAs are overrated.
I don't like hoppy beer.
Yeah. I can drink an IPA and or a pale ale once in a blue moon. I have to be in a certain kind of mood / temperament / want a certain taste. But it is very rare.
I'm very, very big on Yingling. Yingling is my favorite beer.
Yingling's pretty solid.
That's regularly available everywhere in a store like Bud is. If you're going to buy a beer like that off of the shelf, you buy Yingling. I think Yingling is really good. I wish I could get Anchor Steam here, but I can't. And Anchor Steam's fucking amazing. Right, Caleb?
Yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Anchor Steam is good. I don't know. I feel like most of the cities I've been to, I haven't been to Brooklyn or tried their beers, but I don't know.
IPA.
Microbrews are good here. They're good in Denver. They're good in Chicago. Anyway, I was gonna say microbrews or just beers that are of good quality.
Learn to build something. That's a good one.
Build something.
Learn to build shit. Learn how to fix a car. I'm not saying learn how to rebuild an engine, but know how to change your oil, know how to fix a tire, change a tire. Know what everything under the hood does. These are just stuff that'll make you a better person.
That's true. Now you're kind of just listing ideal things that a person should do with their time. That would be very helpful to them as.
But my thing is, it gives the way that I've always been able to connect with people. And I'm not the best looking guy, and I've always been heavy. But I've gotten girls that are way out of my league. Much higher out of, my wife, for example, was much out of my league. You just know, I know a little bit about everything. I've researched a lot about everything. So that way, I never don't have anything to say. You know what I mean? It's very easy for me to pick up and get into small talk with people and be confident. Confidence, girls love fucking confidence.
They do love confidence.
Fucking girls love confidence. I was always the big, goofy, jokey guy who had confidence.
Who had confidence.
Confidence. Yeah. Yeah. So I hope that helps you. What's funnier, Monty Python and the Holy Grail or Monty Python's The Life of Brian?
Ooh.
I think the Holy Grail's overrated.
I was actually going to say I think I might go Life of Brian.
Holy Grail's good.
Holy Grail's good, but Life of Brian is my jazz.
I think Life of Brian just is funnier on a higher level than Holy Grail is.
Yeah, I think it is some very biting satire that is very necessary, and it's just very well written.
And George Harrison's in Life of Brian.
He is. He paid for it to be made. That's just how awesome George Harrison is as a person.
Yeah.
Because they were like, hey, we have this idea for this follow-up to Holy Grail, but we don't have money to make it. And they told it to him, and he was like, what? I'll fund that shit. And he did.
Yes,
he
did.
funded Life of Brian.
And then he's one of the wise men.
Yes, he is.
He's the one in the middle, guys. So if you're ever watching it, he's got a big fake beard on, but it's George Harrison. Of Beatles fame, people probably don't know who George Harrison is.
I fucking hope they know who George Harrison is.
He's one of the Beatles.
Guys. Oh, jeez. You gotta, if you know who the fucking Beatles are, that'll get you women.
He is the best Beatle. He is the best Beatle.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
No.
If I've ever heard one.
No, George Harrison is the best Beatle.
I'm not saying he's not amazing. I'm just saying as the best, that is a hot take, I think.
Okay, wait. Now we'll get into this. Who do you think the best Beatle is?
I think McCartney's the best Beatle.
Ah, come on. Really?
I think McCartney and Lennon needed each other, and I think McCartney contributed more to the band than people like to admit.
Oh, of course.
And that's why I think he and Lennon were on a pretty similar level in their prime, even if he's not necessarily on that level anymore. And I think they really fed into each other really well. And I like Paul McCartney and his writing style and what he does.
I was going to say, McCartney was very good at writing lyrics. He was a very good lyricist.
That's what I like. He could write a jam.
And Lennon was really good at, the melody and making everything fit and flow properly.
Yeah.
I think Lennon had the better singing voice.
I might agree with that, actually. Especially thinking about some of his post-Beatles career, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Because you look at Lennon's post-Beatles career, and then you look at Paul McCartney and Wings, and you're like...
I like Wings, but they are no Beatles.
They are no Beatles.
Very much not.
But George Harrison, in my opinion, had both going for him, and had he been able to get further in his actual life, I think that we would have had a lot more music from him.
Yeah.
He wrote my favorite Beatles song. He's one hell of a guitar player. He's
which song?
While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
It's true. He wrote a few songs. I was going to say.
He wrote a bunch of songs.
He wrote a few really good songs.
Like every song that Harrison has written is a good song. It flows well. Like he wrote While My Guitar Gently Weeps in Bob Dylan's garden. I think it was Bob Dylan. I believe it was Bob Dylan.
Was it Bob Dylan or was it what's his fucking name? The one who's a total prick. Famous guitarist. Anyway.
It wasn't Seegers.
No. It's another British guitarist. He was in... he was in Cream. I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Eric Clapton.
Oh, it might have been Clapton. You're right. Might have been Clapton.
So now he was friends with
yes.
He was friends with Harrison and I think Ringo. Wait, did Harrison write Here Comes the Sun?
I thought that was Ringo.
That's what I'm thinking, but I thought Ringo was just Octopus's Garden, which is it's a fun song. It's not amazing, but it's a fun song.
George Harrison wrote... Hold on, I'm looking this up.
Okay.
The White Album contains 4 Harrison songs.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I assumed Ringo only wrote like 1 or 2, but George Harrison wrote at least a handful.
With You, Within You, Without You, he wrote... That's a Harrison song.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Jay Way is a Harrison song.
Blue Jay Way.
4 Harrison songs. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he wanted Clapton to play with him. I knew that. Piggies.
Piggies.
Savory Truffle.
Fucking White Album, man.
He also wrote Only a Northern Song, and It's All Too Much for the Yellow Submarine.
Okay.
Yeah, he wrote the Ballad of John and Yoko.
Well, Here Comes the Sun was Fall Over, right? Here Comes the Sun, George Harrison.
Is it? Yes,
Yes.
according to Here Comes the Sun was written at the time when Apple was getting like school. Yep.
Nice.
Ringo wrote Hey Jude, A Day in the Life, Hello Goodbye. No, this can't be right.
Wait, Ringo didn't write Hey Jude. That's McCartney.
That's McCartney. Same thing with Yesterday, because Yesterday used to be Ham and Eggs.
It's right. Oh, what a simpler time.
Ringo wrote What Goes On, 12-bar original, Flying, Don't Pass Me By, Los Paranoias, Octopus's Garden, Dig It, Maggie May, Free as a Bird, and Christmas Time is here again.
Christmas time.
Yeah, so there you go.
Back home in small town Southern California, every Christmas, the only local radio station that played classic rock would have a day devoted just to the Beatles, and we would hear the Christmas song a lot. Other than that, I don't see why anyone would listen to it, but it's okay.
Harrison also wrote Taxman.
Ooh, Taxman's a fucking jam.
Yeah. And Here Comes the Sun.
Well, Here Comes the Sun is fantastic, too. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he has a bunch.
So.
Blue Jay Way, Cry for the Shadow, Ding Dong, Ding Dong, Don't Bother Me, Flying, For You Blue, Here Comes the Sun, Horse to the Water, I Me Mine, I Need You, I Want to Tell You, I'd Have You Anytime, If I Needed Someone, The Inner Light, It's All Too Much, Long, 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 Love to You, Not Guilty, Old Brown Shoe, Only a Northern Song, Piggies, Savory Truffle, Something, Taxman, Think for Yourself, Tired of Midnight Blue, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Within You, Without You, and You Like Me Too Much. And then he went on to write that song, Can't Wait to Get My Hands on You. That was also a George Harrison song, after the Beatles.
Can't wait to get my hands on you.
Yeah, can't wait to get my hands on you. Can't wait to get my hands on you. Yeah, that song, it's a George Harrison song. It's after the Beatles. Before his death.
That's fun.
Yeah, see? I love George Harrison. Best Beatle ever.
He's pretty good.
He's better than Lennon. He didn't beat his wives.
Fucking Lennon had some problems. He was not a great person.
We all know the original Paul died in a car accident.
Oh my god,
dead.
no. Paul's not dead. We're not going to resurrect 40-year-old conspiracy theories about music.
Dude, it's like 50 years old at this point.
I know. We're not going to do that.
Why not? Paul is dead, yo.
Don't bring back old memes, yo.
Exactly, that is the original meme.
No, Kilroy is the original meme, bro. It'd be like me trying to put a Kilroy up. Yeah, Kilroy was a World War II.
I know what Kilroy
all the Allied
was.
forces were coming through. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say. Well, okay, yeah.
It was a tank company. It was a tank company. The origin of Kilroy was there was this super fast mechanic tank company that they got a new inspector that came by, and he thought that they were finishing the inspections too fast, and to be able to find out whether or not they had inspected them or not, he would draw the little Kilroy, with the big dick nose.
Yes.
And he would hide them on a tank, and they would always find it. So that's how Kilroy started, and then Kilroy was here.
Yeah, and then the Allies apparently put it all over Europe as they fought the Nazis. Good times.
Yeah. We got time for like 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'm trying to find a good one. What's your favorite band?
Favorite band?
Yeah.
I could maybe do a top 5. I don't know if I would just be able to say one favorite band.
Yeah, that's me. Like, I love music.
That is...
Alright, so let's do the top 5. We'll do this one and one more. Yeah.
Okay. I would have to say the Beatles. We've had long conversations about whether or not they're up there. I think they're up there. This is where Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to say Elvis Presley just because, but I'm on the fence about that.
This is favorite bands.
Yes. So we got the Beatles, we got Led Zeppelin, we got Pink Floyd. I'm trying to think, what have I been listening to lately? What have you got so far?
I got Beatles, of course, one of my all-time favorite bands. I have to get the Zepp out. I have to get the Lead out, so Zepp's totally on there. I prefer Roger Waters to Pink Floyd.
It's fair.
I think Amused to Death is one of the best albums I've ever heard. I really like Kirby Crackle. I think they're one of my favorite bands of all time. And probably Eminem.
Okay. I think you have mentioned that at some point.
But then, like, I also really like pop music, 90s pop music, but I wouldn't consider any of those bands in my top 5 favorites.
Yeah. I mean, I like 90s music is fun and it's nostalgia. Goddamn kids. I can't believe the kids are idolizing the 90s now.
Oh, are they?
It's a thing.
Really?
There are people who are like, man, I wish I was born in the 90s.
Yeah, the 90s are fucking sweet.
Not saying they weren't. It's just weird to be at that age, you know? Because I remember that during, when I was growing up, it was the 70s. I mean, the 70s, the 80s, and the 60s people. There were a lot of people who wanted to, preferred to have grown up in those eras or loved. And well, there was a lot of sentimentality for those eras. It's just weird to see the same thing happen for the 90s.
Was totally an 80s kid. Yep. I was totally like, fuck, why was I born in 86? But always been 70s music. Like, if you couldn't tell by most of my list, it's 70s. You know? And I didn't even get to say, like, Aerosmith or the Stones or Metallica or anybody like that. They're up there.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. But you said 5, so that's... I need 2 more from you, though, Caleb.
I know. I said the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. I might say MF Doom.
I don't even know.
No, I will say MF Doom. I will say MF Doom. He's an underground rap. He's an underground rapper who was particularly big in... Well, he's still around. He does mixed stuff here and there, but he's just incredibly prolific. He works with everybody. If anybody who's anybody in rap has worked with MF Doom at some point, that's just how prolific he is in collaborating with people in the underground and with people in the mainstream in general. He's, I guess the best way I could describe is like saying he's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. He's very niche, but he's just been super influential in a lot of really interesting ways, and he has some pretty fantastic work that he's created musically. Other than that... David Bowie.
Oh, Bowie's good too.
Bowie, I would probably put in this 5th spot now I think about it.
Oh, yeah, Bowie's up there. I might have to move Crackle for Bowie. Oh.
Crackle for Bowie? That seems legit.
Crackle for Bowie. And I might have to move Eminem for Elton John.
Oh, man, damn it. I don't know. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with the 5.
I've got to put Bowie and Elton John up there.
Yeah. There's not too many people that I get super upset with when they die, since a lot of older celebrities have obviously been dying the past couple years, but Bowie hit me particularly hard physically. I do remember that.
Oh, and we just lost Caleb. That's not good. Let's hope that this is still recording. It is. Guys, I'm going to try... I'm going to try to get Caleb back. Not sure if it's going to happen, but I'm going to try to. If we can get Kaleb back, we'll finish this conversation, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Remember, guys, you can reach us every Thursday live on twitch.tv/gamingdeath. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/gamingdeath. We don't really post there. Make sure you guys head over to the mothership site, geekyantics.net, where you can listen to more great podcasts just like this one, like Horseplay Live, which is live every Thursday at 11:30 p.m. on twitch.tv. You can also get it on all your podcatchers. But that's going to do it for tonight. I'm Chris. That was Kaleb. Have a good night, everybody. And I'm spent.